Hello, I'm Thomas with Believe in the Run, and this is the HOKA Hupana. When you think of Hokas, you might think of those big shoes with like a lot of stack height, like a moon boot amount of stack height. But the HOKA Hupana, as you can see, has a lower stack height, but the cushioning is great. It feels like a Hoka, so get excited about that. It also has Hoka's first knit upper, which was surprisingly put together really well. And I say surprisingly because a lot of times when somebody goes out and tries to make a knit upper, it takes a couple iterations before it fits really well. This one does that job quite well. I didn't have any hot spots. I didn't have any rubbing or no problems at all with the upper. And it's pretty much a one-piece upper with a sewn-in tongue. And I also like that the tongue doesn't pop up too far over the collar of the shoe, which I think is a nice feature. Sometimes when you get too much puffiness in the front, I understand they're trying to protect the front of your ankle from getting hit with the lacing. At the same time, for aesthetic reasons, I like the tongue to stick down a little lower. Easy pull on tab. I had no heel lift in the shoe. The collar felt great. There's nothing much to talk about the lacing. The lacing is pretty straightforward, flat lacing. The upper is so very breathable. You can see here, it's pretty wide open. There is some welding on the inside to help create some of the structure and the fit over the arch there. Totally happy with the upper. No rubber on the outsole, and you're like, well, geez, that's really going to cut back on traction and durability, and that's where the surprise came in. This shoe actually has held up really well. I did a poor job of keeping track of my exact mileage, but I know it's somewhere around 65, 70, maybe even higher. I'll err on the lower side. Take a look at the bottom. The only area that has a little bit of wear on it is this side, and it's really cosmetic. You can see the hexagons over here, and you can see where I rubbed them off on the lateral edge. That's where I dropped my foot and shred shoes naturally. I was really impressed with the overall durability of the outsole, and even more impressed with the traction. It looks smooth and slick, but held the ground really well. When I first started running in them, I kind of slowed down in the corners, or if I was on slick material or on unsure footing, I would slow down, and by the end of the time running in these shoes, I felt really confident. I could take those corners hard. I ran on wet surfaces, I ran on loose gravel surfaces, I ran on regular cement, and of course around the Baltimore Harbor I also ran on wood decking. The shoe's traction was a total surprise, and a nice surprise. The cushioning holds up really well. I still feel like I'm getting the same cushioning that I got out of the box, if not a little nicer. It starts to break in for me, especially in the forefoot where I land. The ride is very smooth in the Hupana. There's enough cushioning under the forefoot and definitely enough in the heel. I ran everything from my slow miles to some speed workouts, did a couple tempo runs and intervals in the shoe. I've run up to 16 miles in the shoe. It's a good shoe for a lot of distances and a lot of uses. On the downside, I don't have much negative to say about the shoe. For one reason or another, it's just not a shoe I would choose for marathon. I think I just don't feel as fast as I could in the shoe. Maybe it's a little bit of stiffness is missing from it for that spring off the toe. But when I ran my paces, I was able to hit the paces quite easily in this shoe that I was looking for. I think a lot of people are going to like this shoe. I think you should check it out. If you're interested in trying the Hupana, get it from Running Warehouse. Use the link in the description and use the code BELIEVE10 to get an additional 10% off your order. It's definitely worth a try. HOKA Hupana.